Hey, good morning, everybody. What is up? Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great Friday morning. What is up, everybody? Good morning. What's going on? Got a Coldplay for our intro theme music for today. What is your theme music today? How are you guys? Hope that you're doing great. What's up, Charlene? How are you? Great to see you guys. Again, I'm Brandon Dempsey with worshipteamtraining.com. This is our morning show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you guys are here on this fantastic Friday. This is a great time right now. A perfect time for you right now. To not only sitting here with us as we talk about things of God and worship today, but also it's a great time for you to share this out with your friends. So if you would, right now, if you're on Facebook Live, if you're on Periscope right now, because we're dual broadcasting, please go ahead and share this out with all your friends. Hit the share button on Facebook Live. If you're on Periscope, slide over on Apple, swipe up and down on Droid, and share this out among Twitter, your followers. Let everybody know what is up. And we are going to get going this morning. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. So great to have you. And also, this is even a greater time right now. Abigail, what's up? Our friend over on Periscope. Great to see you, Abigail. How you been? And we're letting everybody come in, so come on in. Everybody come on in. Invite your friends. Let everybody know what's up. And this is also a greater time to welcome our new guest. If you are watching this for the first time, welcome and thank you for joining us this morning. If you would, please do us an honor by letting us know who you are. All you need to do is type in all caps new, the word new, and the city or country of where you're from. So that way we always know what's happening in the worship world around the world. Great to see you, Abigail. Hope that you're well. Yay! And it's great to find out, just like Abigail, coming in. It's great to find out where you are in your part of the world, what your church is doing, your worship team. So that's what it's about today. So thanks so much for coming in today. Who am I? My name is Brandon Dempsey, and I'm the CEO and founder of worshipteamtraining.com. You're watching our morning show right now. When do we air? Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And what do? Well, we also welcome great people like you and also Clarence, our Periscope and also Facebook Live assistant. Everybody say hello to Clarence. What's up, Clarence? Clarence comes out from the west coast of LA and just doing a fantastic job over there, helping us every morning. Thank you so much, Clarence. Love you. I know you came in. And little Johnny, great friend over here as well. So great to see you guys. And so what do? We train worship teams. That's just like what our name says. We do what we say what we do. We train worship teams. We work with churches just like you. That's right. It doesn't matter what your team looks like. It doesn't matter what the size, anything else. We work with you hands-on training, one-to-one with your worship team, vocalists, musicians, your worship leaders, singers, pastors, and also we work with many other kind of folks just like you that need help in your worship team. So, want to do a special warning too right now. Oh, I appreciate that, little Johnny Biggs. Thank you so much. I want to caution you right now because if you say anything on the Facebook Live broadcast or Periscope broadcast, anything you say, will do, or put out there that may harm you or others, we will send you to the block ministry. So no fundraising, no putting up your links, stuff like that. We keep it nice and clean because everybody else came here for the topic to find out what better they can do within their ministries and worship team. So that's what it's about here. All right, so let's get right to it. We also provide mentoring, and we do that. We work one-to-one with worship leaders, pastors, audio tech, musicians, singers, just like you. And that's exactly who these broadcasts are for. However, little did you know, or did you know, we have a lot of people who watch. Thanks so much, Teresa, sharing us out on Twitter. I just had to say that because when you share us out, I see all the feeds that come through. We have different monitor displays set up. So we're just cooking over here, man, because we're trying to do the best job that we can for you. So love you guys. Crystal, what's up? So as I'm saying hello to everybody else coming in, that's what we do here. If you're watching us on the replay on YouTube, welcome to you. If you're watching us by replay from any of the broadcasts, Facebook and Periscope, Thanks so much. Rob, how are you? Rob Still, our good friend over at Periscope. Thank you so much. Glad you guys are doing great today. And yes, as I was saying, we have a lot of viewers that watch us that have nothing to do with the worship team, except for probably watching, being led by them in worship on Sunday, or maybe complaining about them. Either way. So, anyway, great to see you guys. And so we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here. This is what we do. And you probably cannot see the graphic very well because it's quite bright. Just like you. You're bright and shiny on this Friday. So what can I say? Thanks so much for being here. Today we're talking about through him. That is our topic. And we are going to be looking at the life of Joshua. And I just have this question up front to ask you. What are you going through? Better than that, we're going to talk about how Joshua had to cross the Jordan. Sorry. Joshua, in his challenge, had to lead the people of Moses to the Promised Land. However, there were obstacles in his way. And so the title, Through Him, you can find this on our website. That's worshipteamtraining.com. All you got to do is scroll down to the bottom, near the bottom, and the article's at the top. Did that make sense? Scroll down to the bottom and it's at the top. I don't know if that makes sense to you. It kind of didn't make sense to me either. But just look for the article called Through Him. That's what we're talking about today, because through Him, we're talking about crossing your Jordans. What is your Jordan today? What is the river that you're facing? What are the obstacles that you know you can't just turn right back around? You can't even just go maybe to the side of it or even over it. So we're going to be talking about how do we go through it. That is today's topic. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today. And if you like what you hear and you're watching Periscope, only Periscope people can do this, tap on the worship leader glasses and the worship leader hair. If you're watching this by Facebook Live or replay, just tap in a heart and that will go whoop, right to the worship leader hair. Because worship leader hair today is kind of in trouble. He wasn't minding his own business, so if you give him a little hearts, give him a little bit of love, that will encourage him. We had to have a talk, a little come to worship leader hair Jesus meeting today. And so I convinced him, and now everything's okay, but I told him if he doesn't watch it, he's going to get a trim. That's right, because worship leader hair is starting to get a little bit too, jealous with worship leader sideburn, and that's just not a good thing to have that when you're leading worship on Sunday and you got this conflict of interest going on. It's just not good. So maybe I'll come back. If you're watching us through Snapchat, you'll see the story. We're going to go visit Scott the barber. Scott, Viking Iron Man rocker. He calls himself, actually, he's a rocker, but he calls himself the hair ninja. So we're going to go pay a visit to Scott. So if you're following us on Snapchat, you can see we're going to talk a little bit about worship, a little bit about people, and all this stuff. So thank you guys for the hearts coming in. Thank you guys also Facebook Live coming in. You guys are great. And so follow us on Snapchat. All you need to do is go to your app store. That's Apple or Droid, Google Play, and download Snapchat and add us, Worship TT, and you'll find all the stories that we create every day throughout the day that revolve around this topic and exclusive content that you will not get during these broadcasts. And also, when we play contests and other kind of games, you're going to be the first to know if you're following us on Snapchat. So you better head over there right now. Wait, no, not right now, because you're watching this broadcast, but afterwards. Or if you got another device open, even better. I don't know. So on the interweb, you can also check us out. Twitter, @WorshipTT. If you want to follow us and catch all the links, we have webinars that are free. We have articles, videos like this, of course, the same. We have, what else do we have? Instagram. We have a lot of other material out there. We got some awesome news coming to you as well. So you got to head over to worshipteamtraining.com, or if you follow us on Twitter, that's @WorshipTT. Also, I got to say, our fantastic, what God is doing through our Bible program. That's at Bible.com. Most people have this on their phone. If you haven't gotten Bible.com, the YouVersion app, you really need to do yourself a favor and get that. I love the app. I've gone through, for years, I have tried to seek out the best kind of Bible app, and there are some that work pretty well, but it really didn't give me the content of highlighting and commenting, seeing what other people are doing. And that's the great thing that these guys at YouVersion did. They made it almost like a whole community in which you can select friends and you can find out what people are reading, their plans. I mean, it's really, really cool. And we're on it. So if you haven't done this already, just go to Bible.com, download their app, just Bible.com. That's all you need to do. And then search out Worship TT, just like we have on Snapchat. It's the same username, Worship TT or Worship Team Training, either one. And we have Bible programs. We have, Bible daily reading programs, plans. We have, thank you, Clarence. We have a 3-plan, 5-plan, and 7-day plan. And already our first, which is our 3-day plan, already we've had over 25,000 people complete it. Thank you, Charlene, for putting out the plans. Thanks so much. If you're watching us Facebook Live, Charlene just hit you up on that. Clarence also on Periscope. If you're watching us by YouTube, just go to Bible.com and search Worship Team Training. And yes, a whopping 25,000 people on the first plan. You know what that does, right? That just gives us a lot more work to do. I don't know if Michael is up for this, because Michael's the one who plans. He and I write it. I write the devotionals, but he writes the program and we get it in there. So Kelly on the graphics as well. It's just awesome stuff. Thank you guys on Bible.com. You guys that are watching right now that have taken part, thank you. We have our 14-day plan coming, so don't worry. We also have our 30-day plan coming. Wow. That's like a lot. So a lot coming up. Also, we have, let's see, we have a new series coming out on our Bible.com. So more news about that later. This news right here you need to see. Laura Marriott, our free vocal webinar is coming April the 26th. Do you know how soon that is? After Easter, you probably just don't care, right? It's kind of like, no, I'm waiting for Christmas, man. We got a long time. So anyway, but look, you can't miss it. It's a free vocal webinar by Laura Marriott and also co-hosted by yours truly. Laura is going to be in the driver's seat, though. Laura just takes off, man. If you haven't seen Laura Marriott, you really need to do that. Search her out. Just Google her. Watch her videos. Go to her website. She does devotionals as well. Fantastic singer. Incredible teacher. She's going to be sharing golden nuggets, some whatever, for us as singers and worship leaders. April the 26th at 1 p.m. Central Time. It's free. All you need to do is go to worshipteamtraining.com/events. You can't get better than free. worshipteamtraining.com/events. All right. And also, mentoring is what we do. I talked about that earlier. I want to talk more about that later in the broadcast. I do want to say a special shout out and thank you for everybody who has been coming to the mentoring page. We've been getting a lot of emails from you guys just asking about how it works. You need somebody in your life. This is a struggle that you're going through. And we've also, because we've ran a contest, we have like 20 winners over the past 3 weeks that have won free sessions. So we're going to play that game again soon. I'll let you know on Snapchat. That's why you got to get Snapchat, because I'm not going to announce it here. On Snapchat I will. But no, you're not too old to get Snapchat. I've already heard that excuse like what, 17 times this week. Okay, so just get the app, get Snapchat, get it done. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. All right, so anyway, the mentoring page, a lot of people have come by, so thank you guys so much for checking out what we're doing, but most of all, getting the help that you need for your leadership development and music crafting, because that's what we do here. And we have about 20 instructors that are waiting for you to help you in your walk as a worship team member and worship leader. Again, that's why we're called Worship Team Training, because this is for everybody. So, moving on. Through Him, that is what we're talking about today. So let me just ask you, I asked at the top of the broadcast, and by the way, how this works is when we dialogue and converse through this video, through this broadcast, let us know what's on your mind. type in a comment, give us a question, an idea, a thought. Let us know what's up, because you never know. Number one, somebody else may have the same question or similar as you. And when you ask that question, it gives us the opportunity, or even some of our viewers right here, they jump in and they answer as well. So we're among friends. So, I mean, look at this as a way that we're kind of like, you know, this is kind of a form of mentoring too. I mean, we're all in this together, right? We're all, in some ways, we're a leader in some way, right? Whether it's audio tech, musician, whatever. I mean, this is where it's at. So that's why we ask for you guys to comment and take part in the conversation. And also, don't worry about, like, if anybody else is, you know, well, man, maybe they may look at me like, you know, I will, Leon. Hold on. Leon's getting ahead of me on Periscope. That worship leader right there. Hey, Clarence, back on the sound. Mute Leon's channel, please. Thank you. Okay, so hold on. All right. So here we go. So we do this. Yeah, this is all for leaders. This is all for leaders, and this is what it's about. So, I did say if you're new, and Leon, correct me on Periscope. If you are part of the family here at worshipteamtraining.com, watching us Facebook Live and Periscope, please type in FAM. Go, Leon, type in FAM. Let us know if you're here. Just type in family, because that also, again, it lets us know who's watching, who's hanging with us, and we know who to speak with and converse with. It's very important. So like I was saying, when you're commenting, it lets everybody know, Jermaine, what's up? It lets everybody know that you're not alone. I mean, it lets you know that you're not alone. The fam, he got it, Leon, you're awesome. You never know. Your question, your comment also, and it may be you responding, it could be helping somebody else that may have those inside feelings or thoughts. And so that's why I invite you guys to do this, and many of you guys do, so thank you for that. Charlene, Clarence, Leon, Virtuous Woman, Talia, all these guys that have funny handle names and everything, but glad you guys are here. So let's get right to it, shall we? So God instructs us, and He instructs us to not turn away from His Word. That was one of the biggest encouragements that He had for Joshua, and also for Moses, not to turn to the left or to the right, but to stay tried and true, right in the center with God. So I ask you right now, as we go through the broadcast, and I'll let you know when our time is up, and you'll have plenty of time to type in, but what is your Jordan? In other words, Joshua had to cross the Jordan River to get to the other side and to the Promised Land. He was surrounded by obstacles, and also he was surrounded by people. Meaning, this guy had to step in the shoes of Moses. Could you imagine somebody as big and as great as Moses coming along and saying, okay, I'm about to die sometime next week, so Joshua, you're going to take over all these thousands of people. And you're like, you almost feel worse than what probably Moses did when Moses said his tongue is slow as speech, is what the beginning of his plight as he faced it, as he responded to God and not knowing what to do. Do you feel like that? I mean, do you feel like maybe the river that God is wanting you to cross is right in front of you? How do you get through it? That's what we're here to talk about today. And those were the kind of decisions that Joshua had to face, and just like how we still do today. And how does this relate into worship? I'll tell you. Let's just move on to the broadcast. No matter the pressure, nor the tides, nor the flood, God is always here, ever present. If you've been following us on Bible.com, I outlined and highlighted a lot of verses today. One of my favorites comes from Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah 42 or 43. It's one of the two. It's in Isaiah. How about that? Okay, but it talks about how the Lord said, "I will be with you through the flood and through the flame. I will never let you go." I love watching our children grow up, and part of me is kind of like, man, I wish that they would get out of this whiny hiney phase, and the other half of it is kind of like, no, I don't want you to grow up, you know. And our oldest son has this. He's got this tenacious spirit, And by the way, at 5 years old, he received Christ. No, before 5 years old, he received Christ. No, it was 5 years old. Sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. That's why I got to do about 3 of these today, okay? 5 years old, he received Christ as Savior. And this was back in the fall. And I remember he's always said this just as when he was 2.5 years old, he said to me these words when I was putting him down and tuck him in at night. And he said to me, "Daddy, you'll never let me go." He was 2.5 and he said that, "You'll never let me go." And I love that memory. I love that moment. And even when he was getting older, he would still say the same thing, "Daddy, you'll never let me go." And what was most awesome is that when he came to Jesus and he received Christ as Savior, I led him in prayer. And he said, "Daddy, God will never let me go." I mean, just that pedantic. I mean, that, matter of fact. And it was like, wow. On Periscope, can you guys post that one more time? I'm sorry, I missed the conversation. Talia? Or, okay, Clarence, can you post that again? Because there's a conversation going on that I want to get us into. Childlike faith, absolutely. Okay, make sure. Field Harvest, thanks so much for sharing us on Twitter. Appreciate that. You guys are great. All right, Talia, thanks so much. Yeah, and take a step back. I saw what you had said. A friend of ours on Periscope was saying that sometimes when we're too much in front of it, we got to take a step back. That's kind of the gist of what I was catching. And absolutely, it's taking a step back when if you're too close into the river, and you just need to back off a little bit. And so again, those words, the childlike faith, reminds me of our son who said, "Daddy, God will never let me go." And I'm kind of thinking to myself, wow, he's 5. And he can say that. And no, he hasn't lived an adult life. No, he doesn't know the pressures. Because you know what? He doesn't need to know the pressures that we face as adults. He doesn't need to know that. He just needs to feel safe. He just needs to know that he's God's kid, mommy and daddy, his brother, that's it. Having fun, going down the slide. That's what it should be. But how often is it that when we become adults, we move further and further and further away from that point of the river, and we kind of lose the essence of what it means to be a child of God? Unfortunately, we allow the rocks, we allow the gravel, we allow the tree branches, anything else that may be sweeping into our direction that just stunts our growth, or maybe it prohibits us from crossing those Jordans. And I find much of the time that even when we lead worship, or if those that are worshiping have that difficult, challenging time of letting go and just becoming a child all over again. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about just becoming a child all over again and just coming to Jesus in the way that he had said, "Come to me"? Charlene on Facebook Live says that's why we need to spend time in that secret place to regain our focused worship. Yes, and I love that song, by the way, Wrap Me in Your Arms by Gungor. We did that song last Sunday, and I just love the message of it. Take me to that place, that secret place where I can be with you. You can make me like you. I love those lyrics. When we allow the struggles to take over, we got to have that childlike faith. That's what Crystal says here on Periscope. Yes, I wish I could just ball up in his lap right now, Talia says on Periscope. What's awesome, Talia, on Periscope and everybody else, is that God is already here. I mean, we don't have to even pray, "God, will you please be with me?" I mean, I know we feel it at those times, but it's like when you're in the moment, even when you're in the river, and it's almost like an ocean. Now it's becoming these fierce waves, this charge of a current, and you're thinking, "Lord, but how?" The most beautiful thing is that Jesus is right there with us. And what I love about that imagery, when Peter had asked, they were saying, but having, in one of our Periscope viewers saying, but having kids is difficult. Yes, having kids is difficult, but it's the best and most toughest job that you'll ever love in your life. I could not imagine it any other way. And if I was in the river with my children, I would be holding them up continuously, never letting them go. And I know that's the way that God feels about us. Our friend Clarence on Periscope, awesome dude, I love you. So deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. Yes, Charlene says on Facebook Live. And I love the fact that what I was getting at, this is in, I think, Mark 4, where Peter's asking Jesus, they see Jesus walk on the water, and Peter asked Jesus, Lord, then call me out on the water. Like, if you're a real God, call me up to walk in the water just like you. How bold of a question. I mean, think about that for a second. You're talking about Jesus, Son of God, right? Who, when you read Proverbs, I don't want to get it wrong, but if you read Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 8. You guys type that up, please, on Facebook Live and Periscope. Type in Proverbs 8. Proverbs 8. Yes, Fields of Harvest. Thanks for that. Proverbs 8 talks about how it's an imagery of, we see wisdom speaking, right? It's almost in this perspective of Jesus talking about God and creation. And Proverbs 8 talks about how I stood beside him as a master craftsman when he was framing the foundations of the world. Do you know how huge that is? And Peter, being a Jew, should know this. They should know the Torah. They should know all of the Old Testament scriptures. And then here he is saying, Jesus, call me out. Because you know what? If you really say that you'll never let me go, prove it. So Jesus is like, okay, come on. And what I love about that too is that Jesus never rebuked. He never rebuked Peter for that. Yeah, Peter was asked, yes, I love that. Leon says, Peter asked in a tone of wanting to grow in his faith. That's true. He wanted to grow, but he didn't know what he was asking for. Because, as everybody knows, he started to fall through the water. Why? Because he looked down. He lost his focus of Jesus, and he started looking down. Same way of Joshua, looking at the river, and allowing that to be your fear. When you focus on just that one thing that's in front of you, you can't see the grander picture of what God is doing. That's why one of our Periscope viewers said this. We have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of what God is creating. This has everything to do with leading worship. Why? Because it has to do with living life. And if you can't connect the two, you're allowing the disconnect to happen with people. Yes, it is that serious. And you may say, no, it's not. It's just music. You know what? Is worship just music? Is it just you getting up there and just doing songs? Is it just you strutting around? Is it just you, pastor, wanting to get all the numbers into the church? Is it just you wanting to make sure that the budget stays afloat? I mean, yeah, we all want that. But is that really the gain of what we should be doing in the church or in ministry? For what? So yes, Leon on Periscope says, Peter got what he asked for and he wasn't prepared. I love that. He wasn't prepared when he asked the question. What question are you asking, and are you prepared? That's a great point, Leon. What are you asking God right now? But before you ask any further, are you preparing for his answer? Think about that. Are you preparing for him to say no? Are you preparing for him to say wait? Are you preparing for him to say yes? I'll tell you what, that has really shaped my prayer life more than anything. Because when I'm going through the river, I have to go through Jesus first. And when I go through him first, not all the time I do this, but I try to make the effort of saying, God, I'm asking you, what will you do? Is it yes or no in this situation? And then as I pray, I ask the question, Lord, will you help me to prepare for the answer that you're going to give me? Will you help me to wait? Will you give me the endurance and the patience to wait? That's a hard prayer. I mean, it's the opposite from Peter, because Peter just wanted it right now, okay? And that was risky. But it's also risky, it's even more risky, I think, to pray for patience, because that's something that a lot of us don't do well. That's a lot of things that maybe we just don't have or we just don't want to do. So at least Peter just got it out and said it right away, right? And so here's what I love. All right, I grew up, like big foundation pastors. Like, I think of, Chuck Swindoll. I've said him before. One of my favorites. Tony Evans, John MacArthur. John Piper. All these guys have just incredible things to say, and I love it. And I'm a huge A.W. Tozer fan. There's many of them right now. Watchman Nee is one of my foundational authors. If you haven't looked at Watchman Nee's writings, you really need to invest and do it. Watchman Nee. It's Watchman, like in one word, Watchman, and Nee as in N-E-E. Watchman Nee. Yes, Jermaine's heard of Watchman Nee. Watchman Nee is a Chinese American who was saved out of. I don't want to get his testimony wrong. You need to search it, okay? Because I don't want to speak on something that's I just kind of halfway know. But you have to read his testimony. This was a man who was oppressed and oppressed in his own religion, and then found Jesus. And it's amazing of the wisdom that he has and what he shares. And so this is what he says. Watchman Nee, this is a okay, wow, my mind is blown for a second. Crystal on Periscope said one of her mentors introduced her to Watchman Nee. Is that for real? Because, I should just stop this whole broadcast right now. Are you serious? Wow. Okay, so when I'm about to read this quote, you'll understand why I'm saying wow. Oh, she spoke to you about meeting him. Okay, now that's a big difference. Now we'll continue the show. Thanks, Crystal. Okay. All right, so here's what Watchman Nee said. I love this quote. He said, and it is through conflict. Listen to this. And it is through conflict that God induces the believer to seek and to grasp total triumph in Christ. I'll say it one more time. Watchman Nee said, it is through conflict that God induces the believer to seek and to grasp total triumph in Christ. That's faith talking. That is like, God, pull me through the river. I can care less because I know you will never let me go. I hold my hand out to you, and maybe I am afraid of walking. That's okay. God's simply asking us, though, do we fear him first? Because if we truly fear the Lord in the right way, as he is wisdom, he is strong, absolutely. Alex S. Ramirez, thanks so much for that. She says, when we are weak, he can show us how strong he is. Absolutely. It's an opportunity. That's the opportunity when you're in the midst of conflict. It's not about you. It's not about the person that you're having a beef with or whatever, or the situation. I know things like, job is an issue, finances, bills, children, all this stuff. But it's in the conflict is when we also find the triumph of Christ. God, Jesus, through us, we cannot experience any triumph if we don't have any conflict. And I know that's ironic to say. I understand that. But that's where we find out absolutely how strong and how great God really is. It's not about just continuous praise through on the mountaintops all the time. I don't know anybody like that. And if there is a worship leader or pastor like that, then awesome for you. I don't have that, because you know what? We together, you and I, we live in the trenches. And you know what? I like living in the trenches. Why? Because when the moments that God calls you out of the trenches and you finally do get on the mountaintop, then you have that joyful experience of seeing what God has done to that trail that you were walking long ago. And the other side of this, the second thing, the opportunity, is that you can bring people with you. That's what doing the hard work is all about. It's not about just having it easy. And yeah, I know a lot of people just nod their heads and say, yeah, I know that. Well, but are you doing it? I mean, are you really living in the trenches? You got your pickaxe with you and your belt and all your tools and armor and everything? Because if you're really slugging it out in the trenches, you would know, and you wouldn't be nodding your head. You'd actually probably be looking deep within yourself and just saying, "Wow, yeah, I remember doing that, and that hurt," or "I'm going through it right now." That's what it's about. And when you lead worship with that kind of perspective, that's faith, man. Because when people are looking at you, they're looking to see how you're working through the trenches, how you're going through Jesus and moving through that river. That's what connects people in worship. And then, yes, absolutely, like what I talked about yesterday, when you can apply the awesome talent and skill of your voice or your instrument or the board or whatever technology craft that you're doing within your church or your pastor, when you can combine your skill and talent to the truth of Christ working within you, that's a powerhouse. But I believe it takes humble people like Joshua and you and I to actually do it. So it's amazing to me how the scriptures become that compass for us and life preserver. Yes, Fields Harvest, staying yoked to Jesus, relying on His strength. Absolutely, that's all the time. God develops the courage. Yeah. God develops the courage within us as we rightly prepare by taking one step at a time. It's not about taking the step, it's what you're doing before you step. It's what you're doing before you step. Like, I play sports every day, every morning. And, on Snapchat, you see, I'll talk about, the beginning of my day and stuff like that. And yeah, I play racquetball. I'm in a professional amateur league, and we meet at 6:30 in the morning. I know it's crazy, but so is our schedule and our boys, okay? But through playing, we're hitting a ball. The ball goes 180, 190 miles per hour, So I took a picture on Snapchat this morning with my grill and everything. You'll see it. And when you're playing the game, what's awesome about it, because we're hitting it this high above the floor at 200 miles an hour. And we're playing. These are pros. These are circuit pros that play throughout the country. And what I've learned, and I'm still learning, is that when you're in any kind of sport, basketball, it's a great example. You are not just thinking about taking your shot. You're not just thinking about the steps when you're running down the court. You're actually thinking about the move beyond that. You're thinking about the next move constantly, because the next move will tell you how to respond. The next move will set the pace of where you need to go and how to navigate in order to score. That's the whole point. The Bible in itself is that same roadmap. It lets us know the step ahead. We have a benefit. We have an advantage that the world doesn't. So how are we using it within our lives instead of just sitting there on the sideline and watching everybody else play the game? What about you? Are you really living the game, or are you just spectating? And I can only speak about this because I'm living the experience. This is what I go through. And I think that we all go through this. But I also feel like, we put up a lot of veneer and we don't want to talk about it because you can't be real with people, or maybe you don't want to look like a failure. Look, we're all in this together. It really doesn't matter. What matters is, are you allowing Jesus to work through you in such a way that the people in your church see it too? Because that encourages them. Think how awesome that is when you're leading worship. Yeah, are you living the game or are you spectating? Yeah, that's the question of the day. Thanks, Crystal. Think how awesome that is when God's put you in a position to run sound. Or even to, pass out food to the homeless. And people who know you. And they know the things that you're going through. But they see you serving anyway. And they see you do it with joy, even if you are in tears. How incredible is that? Especially people who don't know Jesus. That's what it's about. It's about the process. It's about the river. It's about the trenches. It's about Lord working through us in those moments, because that's where He is shaping your character through the conflict. And then yet we ask, well, why is this happening to me? Why not? Why not? It's funny. It's like our refrigerator went out the other day, and it actually happened before the show. This was 2 days ago. And I get home from the gym and I see the freezer leaking, right? And it's leaking on the floor. I'm going, okay, this is not good. This is not good. So I'm drying it up and everything. Come to find out, I checked it behind the, refrigerator, and, the compressor's kaput. So all that food that we had in there is like just gone, and it's like, wow, and this happened right before the broadcast. You guys didn't know this. I could have brought my, drippy towels in here or something. I don't know. But the whole point of that is I knew that God had a way regardless. And, I was having an okay day when that happened, but there was other things along the way that was kind of coming off the hinges, and then I see the freezer and the refrigerator, and I'm going, okay, what am I going to do? I can't stop it physically, And so I just said, okay, God, you know what you're doing. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't prefer it. And maybe that's half of the battle, is that we don't give ourselves permission to have conflict. We don't give ourselves permission to fail. We don't give ourselves permission to go through the woes and say, hey, I really don't like this. Because more than the other half of the time, we're too worried about, Lord, please don't let this happen. I don't want this to happen. No, this shouldn't happen. And you know what all that does? It just causes that much more stress in your life. I'm not saying that you can't feel it. I'm not saying that. We are going to feel it. I just talked about the trenches, okay? Right? We're going to feel it. But it's in the moment is where we find God's wisdom, God's comfort, His grace, no matter what. And so, yeah, I'm on the phone with the home warranty and everything, and the guy came out that day, and we replaced the refrigerator that night. Okay, done. And yeah, it was a little chaotic. My wife and I were having to move our kids and have dinner out, and it was a flurry of really upsetting the nightly routine, right? But it's okay. And my wife and I talked about it later on, and Heather just said, you know what, that was this was the last night. She said, that was rough the other night. I said, yeah, it was. And we're throwing out 50 pounds of food, and stuff, and the boys were screaming and everything, and it was it was rough. And I said, but could have been worse. At least we have a home to come to, right? At least we have a roof over our heads. At least we have cars that we can drive, clothes that we can wear, food that we can even throw out. Think about that, really, when in the scheme of things, it feels like it is in the moment. It feels big, but when you look back on it, and sometimes even through it, it's not. It's just a moment. And so, everything works out. And I used to not see it that way when I was younger. and I was leading worship, I was so in the God, this has to be instant kind of thing. I'd get impatient. I want it to happen now. Lord, I want the song now. I want these people to sing now. I want the band to sound like this. I want to change everything in the church. Man, was I wrong. Was I wrong totally. And I've learned this over time, and I'm still learning it, that when I've heard people in my past that were older than me, mentors of mine that have said, Brandon, they've gotten to the point and place in their lives where they had said, Brandon, I've just come to that place now where I just don't worry anymore about like the refrigerator going out, or this obstacle that I have to go through, or this one river that I'm facing that I have to cross. I don't worry anymore. I mean, I don't, and they tell me right away, there's like, I'm not saying I don't feel it. There's a difference. You still feel it, and you still feel the toughness of it. And yeah, the worries can tempt you to worry and everything, but it was kind of like I know God's going to work it out. So here's the trial that I see, and you may see it too. It's like, God's going to work it out over here, but you're still standing on this other side of the bank of the river, right? And so you still have to go through this past right now. And that's where the challenge is. It's kind of like, all right, God, I know you're going to work it out, and I'm standing here. I know you're going to bring me through it. The question is how. It's like, how is this going to work out? That's what I reflect on. And the more and more that I seek Jesus and His Word, the more and more that I find that the answers are already there. So there you have it. That's all I got today. Let me hear from you. We're about to wrap up now on this broadcast. You guys have been so awesome. Periscope, Facebook Live, thank you guys for sharing out your ideas and what's up. I love that. As we wrap up, what's your thought? Type in something. You got a question, an idea, thought. Even maybe if you hear something along the way that we've said so far that maybe is a good idea for a future broadcast or topic to write about or address, let us know. Type it in. Same thing, if you're watching the replay, let us know what's up. So that way we're always trying to do better at what we do because we want to make it good for you. That's the whole point. And we honor Christ through that. So you guys are awesome. Love you guys. As you guys are typing in, I'm just going to go through the credits, so to speak. Snapchat. Again, find us there. You can get all the stories that we have. Download that to your device and add us. Snapchat, add us, Worship TT. That's Worship TT. And then also, don't forget the free vocal webinar coming up with Laura Marriott. You can't miss that. You can't get better than free. April 26th, 1 p.m. No one's going to spend more time with you like the way that Laura can. Not teaching vocals like this, man. No, you ain't going to get that anywhere. worshipteamtraining.com/events. Go to it, sign up for free. It's yours. And also what's yours is our mentoring program. Do you like hearing? Okay, hold on. Question. We also ask why, how, about as long as we know who, Jesus, that's all that matters. Yes, that's what Crystal says here on both Facebook Live and Periscope. Thanks for that, Crystal. So Alex Ramirez says, the scripture was revelation for me, Psalm 46:10. Absolutely. Jermaine on Periscope says, patience in the midst of exercising my faith in all things. No pressure, no diamond. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Alex Ramirez says, be still and know that I am God. Yes, that's the Psalm passage. You guys are great. You're teachers. Look, you're living it out. This is it. You guys, this is where it happens. I will be exalted among the nations. Yes, this is where it happens. You guys are teachers. You guys are living it. You may be thinking to yourself, yeah, but I don't do it. It doesn't matter. Look at all the fruit right now that you guys are, what you're hearing, what you're watching, what's going through your mind. Look, share this out with somebody. I mean, share the good, what you're learning right now, whatever God's saying to you in your heart and your mind, do it. This is what it's about. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today. Go and check out worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring. If you feel like you're missing your step or you want that focus to be just a little bit clearer, we can help you with that. And It's really easy. It's a 10-week program, less than an hour a week, follows a 50-page book that I had written, all kicked off by an awesome questionnaire that will help you understand how God's wired you. We put that together to the book, and we walk through your weekly and daily experience in ministry and in life. And we help you develop that blueprint that God's already written, but figuring it out, like, the navigation part. I mean, like, what are some things that we can do to hop around these corners or to go through the river? Those kind of things. So you're not alone. So go check it out, worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring. So that being said, love you guys. Thank you so much for coming here on the broadcast. And if you're going to be catching us on the replay in a second, bless you. Thanks for coming in. Rick, I saw you. Rick Costa. Everybody say hello, Rick, on Periscope. He's awesome. If you're not following Rick Costa on Periscope, you're really missing out. Please do that. Rick is an awesome brother in the Lord, knows the scriptures backwards and forward, has an awesome voice, and an awesome heart for ministry and for people. So thank you for that, Rick. Love you. Thanks, Jermaine, for digging the broadcast today. Hearts out to you, bro. Thanks for that. Charlene helping us on Facebook Live today. Thank you so much. And Amy helping us up as well. You guys are fantastic. All right, awesome. All right, calm down, Rick says. Okay, I got my sweat rag. Hold on. So, worshipfully to forehead. All right, so we got to go. Thanks so much. Come back and watch worshipteamtraining.com. Thank you guys for joining us today. We'll have our Sunday post going up pretty soon. On Sunday, so gotta wait. But go back today and get worshipteamtraining.com and get today's article. Today's article is Through Him. That's what we just got through talking about. So get that. Catch it on the replay, Rick. Thanks for that. And be sure to check us back out, worshipteamtraining.com, and you'll find all the stuff there. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Be sure, if you're not already, on Periscope, slide over and hit the follow button. If you're watching us right now on Facebook Live, please hit the like button and let us know what's up, because you'll see every update that comes your way, and all the good stuff, as I said before, you can find on Twitter. That's at WorshipTT right here, as well as on Bible.com. So love you guys. Thanks so much for coming. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will try to come back sooner if I can, okay? Because you guys are awesome. So thanks so much. Have a fantastic day. Look forward to hearing what God is doing in your church and in your ministry this Sunday. Lead worship well and lead through Christ, and let Him lead through you. Love you guys, and see y'all very soon. Bye.